All right, y'all, big changes coming to TikTok USA, and it's not just smoke and mirrors and drama. I really do think that at this time, this is going to happen. So on September 5th, 2025, TikTok is going to release a US version of TikTok. When I say TikTok, it's not really probably not going to be TikTok. It's US owned companies or companies based out of the US. Companies like Oracle, Blackstone, Microsoft, and other companies, AI companies like Perplexity AI. They're going to leave a minority share of some sort for ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns TikTok, but we'll see how much they actually have. So some of the major issues that we're facing here is that TikTok is popular because of its algorithm. When China gives this US version, which is regional, which is only for the US, and my guess is maybe Canada and China might be included in that. I'm sorry, not Canada and China, Canada and Mexico might be included in that. I don't think that China is going to give up their algorithm. This is what makes TikTok what it is. If every software company had this algorithm, then they may be excelling just like TikTok China is. They do this all the time. When China, when Samsung, when iPhone, when they sell some of their technology to another company that needs it, they're not giving them the 100% solid app or device. They always dumb it down. That's the fear. That is TikTok USA going to be dumbed down. Some of the major dates to remember are going to be September 5th, 2025. That's when M2, which is what they're calling this, is going to launch. It's still in talks because US companies have to buy it. And we have to see who's going to be buying it. And then at the end of the day, the Chinese government has to okay it because Chinese government owns everything that is created by China and its people in China. September 17th is going to be the deadline for the sale to go through. If it doesn't go through, then TikTok could be banned in USA. And that's September 17th. March 2026, the old TikTok will stop working by that date. So these are some of the major important dates to remember. Some of the risks that I've mentioned, will the app feel the same? I don't know. When TikTok had turned off, I think it was like a year ago when they were going to ban it, and then they turned off TikTok for like a day or two. Then it kicked back on, and all of a sudden we were getting requests to sync up our Facebook and our Instagram, and it felt very much like Meta was kind of like involved in it. It felt different, and I think maybe we've gotten used to it feeling different. But some of the major concerns that I have, and I'm sure some of you have, is that why are they so concerned with TikTok? TikTok has reshaped the world. I believe they're going after freedom of speech. Just imagine, you cannot criticize the blue state country without repercussions. They're deporting people. If you have a green card or you're here on a student visa or work visa or whatever it is, they've deported people. They will deport you for speaking up against the genocide in Palestine. This is a big deal because countries like China have done this before, Bangladesh, India. Bangladesh, when they had their student riots, it was due to the nepotism in the government. And they were trying to make it a law where you could not have more than, I think, like 30% nepotism within government jobs. So what happened was these students in Bangladesh were graduating and they had no jobs because everybody in the government was hiring their niece, their nephew, their son, their daughter, their aunt, their uncle. It was all just family run. So then they ended up having riots. At that time, Bangladesh shut down all social media. Why? Why shut it down? It's because they don't want the masses to communicate. They don't want people to assemble. India did the same thing during the recent, it was like 10-day or 3-day or something like that, India-Pakistan war. North Korea has been doing this for quite some time, and now we're finding the same behavior in USA. I actually think that USA might be trying to avoid some sort of a cancel culture. What's happened now is that everybody has a camera. There's not just 3 news organizations, liberal, conservative, and moderate, that are reporting on the news. And it turns out that all of them are kind of working for the same people. with the same news being fed to us the same way, almost word for word. There are clips out there, word for word. They're just all saying the exact same thing. But TikTok and social media has changed this aspect of the world. We do have Facebook, we do have Instagram, but it is run by U.S. companies. They are kind of aligned with the government now. They are kind of aligned with the president. Mark Zuckerberg is definitely in with President Trump. And so I guess the best way to do whatever we want, or whatever the government wants, for the government to do whatever it wants, is to silence the public. If you silence the public, you don't have the option to share stories, share your experiences across the world, then essentially your freedom of speech is gone. We can't, like I said, we can't even criticize a foreign country without threat of repercussions, which is kind of crazy because, up until now, we've been saying that, America is going around the world. We're giving everybody freedom. Who's going to give, is somebody going to come and give us freedom? Because freedom of speech is one of our basic rights. Like, how can you not? You can say, F the police. You can criticize the government. You can criticize the president, but you can't criticize Israel. And recent months, the rest of the world is starting to figure out that what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Palestine, the attacks on Lebanon, the attacks on Iran, attacks on Syria, attacks on surrounding areas, the now recent possible overtaking of Cyprus by Israeli residents with, illegal passports and illegal documents to purchase land, pretending as if they're residents. It's becoming concerning, and the world is seeing it. Europe is already putting sanctions against Israel, and more are to follow. Majority of the countries in Europe. And so at the end of the day, I think the only countries left on one side are going to be US and Israel, and everybody else is on the other side. And it's a little bit scary that in just a short time, in a few months, they're going to take away the app that's given citizens around the world the biggest voice. So what do we do from this point on? Do we just accept it? Do we speak up? I think that's probably what's going to have to happen, is that the people will have to speak up, because once this becomes just a regional app, we won't know what's going on in the Middle East. The Middle East won't know what's going on here. We won't know what's going on in Europe, and Europe won't know what's going on elsewhere. Or I guess they all will know what's going on everywhere else but America. This is a very isolationist idea, and I think this is an idea that we've gone to other countries and forced them to be less isolationist. Like we did this to China way back when. We're trying to do this to Iran. We're trying to get their resources and minerals the way we want. But now we're going backwards. We're going to become isolated from the rest of the world, and our voices won't be heard anymore. And chances are that as they take over this new version of TikTok, then we'll be monitored. We'll be supervised. And if you do say the wrong thing, then you could go to jail, or you could possibly get deported. Currently, there are talks of taking away citizenship from naturalized citizens. That means that if you came here like when you were like 2 years old, 3 years old, you became a naturalized citizen, you've lived here your entire life, now you're 40, 50, 60, but you speak up, you just say your opinion, you could lose your citizenship and get deported to whatever country you came here from like 50 years ago. You've never lived anywhere else. You've been a citizen of this country. You've been paying taxes. You've been working for 60 years. And if you don't agree with U.S. policies, if you don't agree with Israeli policies, you could get kicked out of America. So what better way to get that happening than to take away the biggest voice of the people, TikTok? So hopefully there's a solution. Hopefully we get around this. And hopefully this doesn't happen, because I don't think that this is going to be the right move for the American people. It's going to be a great move for the government. At that point, the government will be able to do whatever they want. There will be no eyes on the government. There will be no exposure. They can limit and delete and cancel whoever they want without having threat of they themselves being canceled. So once I do have more news on this topic, I will share with you. But at this point now, you can probably tell I'm a little bit distraught by it. It's very concerning news, but I will give you more as updates come in. Take care.